Hello, welcome to Tony's Math Hacks. In this video, I'd like to talk with you about driving. You ever take a long road trip and you gotta drive miles and miles on that big old freeway to get to your destination, and you wonder, how long is it gonna take? When am I gonna get there? Now I realize we all have GPS apps these days that will give you an estimate of your arrival time, but those apps make certain assumptions about your driving speed, and you're in charge of your driving speed. So let's think about how you can actually calculate your arrival time based on the speed you're driving without having to pull out a calculator while you're driving a car. So we're going to take advantage of the fact that there's 60 minutes in an hour. Why are there 60 minutes in an hour? Well, a long time ago, the Babylonians worked in base 60, and 60 is a very convenient number. What makes it so convenient? Well, the number 60 is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, and 30. And that makes it really easy to work with in a lot of contexts. Now, supposing you're driving down the road at 60 miles an hour. That's exactly 1 mile per minute. And if you see a sign that says the city you're trying to reach is in 144 miles, then you're going to be there in 144 minutes. What's that? 2 hours and 24 minutes. Okay, no problem. Let's say you're not going exactly 60 miles per hour. Suppose you're driving 75 miles per hour. Then you look at the ratio 75 to 60, and you realize, well, that's the same thing as 5 to 4. So you're driving faster than a mile a minute, which means you're going to take less time than 144 minutes. How much less time? 4/5. 4/5 is just the ratio we already saw upside down. We just need to flip it over because if you increase the speed, you reduce the time, so we flip it upside down. 4/5 times your 144 minutes, or whatever number it happens to be, is how long it's going to take you to get there now. Well, that's a little bit of arithmetic, but we can multiply 4 times 144, and we get 400 plus 160 plus 16. And so what's that? 576 divided by 5, which looks like it must be 115 with a little bit of change. So you're going to be there in less than 2 hours, it looks like. Now, what if you say, I could push it a little bit faster and drive 80 miles per hour? Well, 80 to 60 is in the ratio of 4 to 3. So we flip that over just like the other one and say if we drive 80 miles per hour, we're going to get there in 3/4 the amount of time it would take going a mile a minute. What's 3/4 times 144? Well, this one's a little nicer because we're just going to multiply 3 times 144 over 4. And let's just cut that in half, cut that in half. That's the same as 3 times 72 over 2. We can cut the 72 in half again. And our answer is 3 times 36, which is 108 minutes. So that's what? An hour and a half is 90 minutes, so we're looking at an hour and 48 minutes. You're going to save 7.5 minutes by going 5 miles an hour faster. I say 7.5 minutes, 7 minutes and 12 seconds if you want to be really precise. But anyway, this is a great way to think about freeway speeds. You can put a lot of speeds in a ratio to 60 miles per hour, and it's going to work out to actually a pretty simple ratio. And then you can apply the reciprocal of that ratio, that's what we did here, to the number of miles you have left to go, which you just drove by a sign telling you how many miles it is to the town you're headed for. And then you have a pretty good estimate of your arrival time, assuming that there aren't any big slowdowns along the way. Of course, this works just as well if you have to go slower than 60 miles per hour. So if you notice that you're only making about 48 miles per hour. Then you look at the ratio 48 to 60. Well, that is 4 to 5. 48 is 4 times 12, 60 is 5 times 12. So if you can only do 48 miles per hour and you have 144 miles to go, then we're going to flip this over and say, what's 5/4 times 144? Well, that's going to be 5 times 144 over 4. I think we decided that 144 divided by 4 is 36. If you're not too sure about that, think of 144 as 12 squared divided by 2 squared. And of course, you're going to get 6 squared. So this is the same as 5 times 36, which is, well, half of 36 is 18, so 5 times 36 must be 180. Looks like this is going to take 3 hours. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed hearing how you can think about your travel times and your speeds in terms of ratios. I find it more entertaining and a little easier to do it this way than to do a whole bunch of long division while I'm driving. So think about this the next time you're on a road trip, and I'll see you next time on Tony's Math Hacks.